Hi everyone, welcome to Wendy's Decorium. Something a bit different for you today. I'm going to be doing a paper craft for Christmas. I'll show you. I do these every year. For my mum, she absolutely loves them because she gives money. These are money wallets. They're actually for cash. They fit all of our notes. You could even put a card in it if you want. You could put a letter in. I'll show you a few of them. Yeah, they're really, really handy and very easy to make and don't use a great lot of resources. So I'm going to show you today how we do it. All right, you're going to need some card. You're going to need some pattern paper, say scrapbook paper. I've picked the card according to my scrapbook paper. And these, you need to cut them down to 7 3/4 inches by 7 1/4 inches. And what we're going to do is, these are all cut down, we're just going to score them. Now, if you do not have a scoring board, because not everybody does, you can do this with a ruler and the end of a pencil or the end of your scissors. It's really rather easy. So I'm just going to show you on one and then I will do the rest. Right, on the 7 3/4 inch side, which is that one, get my scoring tool. Like I say, you don't need all these. It can be done with a ruler and a pencil. Let's bring you down. Right, at the 7 3/4 inch side, you're going to score at 2 all the way down and 5 1/2 all the way down. And what we're going to do is we're going to bend on them score lines and fold it. And again on this side, score it, and there you go, that's the start of your wallet. Right, I'm going to do this with all of them and I'll come right back to you. Now that you've got your basic wallet, one side is thicker than the other side. The thickest side is going to be the top. So what we're going to do with the top end is get a corner punch. Now you can do this with a pair of scissors. You don't need all these tools. Clip the corners off. It just finishes it off nicely, I think. Now for pattern paper, you can pick whichever takes your fancy. I've picked this one and it does have a general direction. As you can see, all the presents are facing up. Now you need to measure this in inches and it's 3 1/2, and that is 7 1/4. So 3 1/2 by 7 1/4. Now, I usually like to have a border around the back, so I always take off 1/4 inch off both of those measurements. So let me remind you, 3 1/2 by 7 1/4. So it will be 3 1/4 by 7. Right, you need to cut that out of this paper, obviously directional. And we do exactly the same for these two sides. So obviously it's 7 1/4 that way, same as the back. 2 1/4 and 2. So it'll be 2 and 1 3/4 by 7. So you need to cut this out. Okay, I've got these cut out and we're going to stick it on. Now bearing in mind that when you fold it flat like this, that should be the opposite way. Now you can see I've rounded the corners on that one. We're just going to stick them on. I'm using Nouveau Deluxe adhesive from Tonic Studios. the best glue on the market, in my opinion. It grabs hold very quickly. And we're leaving a little border all the way around. There we go. Next one. Now this goes that way. They're just ideal. Like I say, I make them for my mum every year. Nice and quick and easy. They're definitely better than the ones you buy in the shop. Yes, it's more convenient, but if you're a crafter, isn't it lovelier to make them yourself? And people seem to like them. Everybody always comments on them. Right, I'm turning that over, and that one goes that way. Yeah, it's much nicer to make them yourself. And like I say, I tend to use a lot of scrap paper. I do a lot of paper crafts, so I do have scrap. But I mean, card is not overly expensive anymore. It really isn't. And it does work out cheaper. You can make quite a few, you know. Right. Now that that's all on, the bottom piece, I'm just going up the sides. And we're going to stick that down. Now, normally I would put some pegs on, if I can find the pegs. Can I heck? What have I done with my pegs? Yeah, normally I would put pegs on there just to hold it. Right, now time to decorate it. If you've got things, especially if you're a resin artist, and you've got things, inclusions to put in, you will have quite a lot of Christmas items. I'm just going to let that dry. I'm going to find my pegs. Well, I used A4 paper for this, so I do have scraps. Obviously, when I cut it down to size, I had scraps. Now, what I'm going to do is, I have a little die cutting machine here. Let's move this out of the way. Now, if anybody's not heard of dies, they are little metal shapes. I mean, you probably are. I'm probably teaching you how to suck eggs here, but yeah, they're just little metal shapes that you cut out. Right, let's have a look. And all I do is, you've got to cut it to size. I do have big machines, but they wouldn't fit under camera, that's for sure. Cut your paper so that it fits in that slot. I keep saying paper, but I mean card. I put my card on there. There you go, there's a round die. Put my die on there. Roll it through. And then it's cut out. We're just making a sentiment box for the, oh, if only I could speak. I'm getting worse at this, aren't I? For the money wallet. Right, now, we don't just want that, so I'm just going to cut a plain circle out. Pop it through. There we go. Pull it out. This one doesn't want to come out. There we go. Now that you've got that, we're going to stick it together. Right, that's that done, and that is going on there like that. It's also going to be the fastener. Now we need to stamp a sentiment, and I think we'll use this one, Merry and Bright it says. Get my ink out. Sorry I moved you then. I'm using VersaFine ink. Onyx Black it's called. My favourite ink. Very crisp and lovely. Right, now all I'm going to do is stamp that there. Put the ink away. Don't want black fingers, do I? And we're just going to glue the top part. So look where your Merry is. Stick that on. Now for the fastening, all I usually use is like a foam pad, but I haven't got any left at the moment. Oh, I'll tell you what I do have. Foam tape, double-sided foam tape. So I'm just going to cut a square, and you stick it on there. You take that off when you've put your money in and put it away. Right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to let all that dry and I'll show you the finishing off. Okay, I'm going to do the other ones and put you on a fast forward so you can see what's happening. Now that we've got, need to stamp that one, completely forgot. We will do Season's Greetings. Yeah, we might as well have them all different, eh? There we go, Season's Greetings, Merry and Bright, and with love at Christmas. Now what I've got here is just, it was a bigger die than these two, and this is for the back. It is completely preferable. I like to see the picture, but you can always stick it to one side. I like the mittens, but my mum likes, I'm doing these for my mum, so my mum likes to have the to and from there. Yeah, I'll stick it there. And what I've got is another stamp. I'll show you. Should have got all these things out. Not very organised today, am I? Right, it's a to and from wooden stamp. Move this out of the way. There we go. I'll do this one as well. Sometimes I make them slanted. My mum doesn't seem to bother. I try to make it straight. Just let the ink soak in for a sec. There we go. And I'm just going to glue them on the back. I shall do that later. Let them dry for a bit. Now, to all the embellishments. Now, I know for a fact all us resin artists have plenty, like I said before. So, I'm going to find something. I've got about 6 of these boxes for Christmas decorations. And I'm just going to faff for a little while, so I'll speed you up so you're not bored, all right? All finished now. Good quality money wallets. I mean, the ones you get in the shop are so flimsy, and you've also got the added satisfaction that you made them yourself. Really easy project. I know this video has been a little different for me, but I thought I'd give you something that, you know, you can do perhaps when you've got a spare hour. They don't take long, and like I say, they don't take much resources, and they're just really, really pretty. Look at that one, he's so cute. They fit all your notes. Just really, like I say, satisfying and quick. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Like I say, a little different, but give it a try. You'll be surprised. And thanks ever so much for watching. Back to normal filming next time. Bye everyone. Thanks for watching.